Your marathon is quickly approaching, and you might be wondering what mistakes that you should avoid after the marathon. These mistakes are easy to make, and I have actually made them as well. So here are 5 mistakes that you should avoid after the marathon. One of the mistakes that you should avoid after the marathon is that you shouldn't sit down or lay down right after you finish. After you cross the finish line and get your medal, you should keep walking around for at least 10 minutes after you finish. Stopping and sitting down right after you finish can cause your blood pressure to drop quickly. If you sit or lay down, you can actually become dizzy or possibly even faint. This is also going to make your legs stiffen up at a quicker rate, and it's going to make it harder to get up off of the ground. So as a new marathoner, I would sit down and lay down pretty much immediately after the race. I would cross the finish line, I'd get my medal, and then I would go find a place to sit or lay down. Well, that actually is a mistake, and you could actually feel worse. So avoid the mistake that I made doing this as a beginner marathoner. I didn't realize that you shouldn't do this. Now I make sure I at least try to walk around at least 10 minutes, even when I'm not feeling like it. It doesn't matter how fast you walk. You can walk at a very, very slow pace. As long as you're moving, getting the blood flowing through your legs so your blood pressure doesn't drop and you don't feel dizzy. So this is going to be the best bet after you finish. Keep walking for a little bit. The next mistake that you should avoid after finishing your marathon is not changing your clothes. You need to have a drop bag ready for you at the race gear check. After the race, after you walk around for a little bit, go get your clothes, change into some nice warm clothes. So make sure in this drop bag you have a nice warm sweatshirt, a nice pair of warm pants, some undergarments, a fresh pair of socks, and maybe some type of recovery shoes. This would be great and help the recovery process get started. And believe me, you are going to feel so much better getting out of those wet clothes. Cooling down way too quickly can be a shock to your body. That is why you want to get out of those sweaty clothes. If you get too cold too quickly, this could actually make you go to the medical tent. So believe me, I have some experience when it comes to going to the medical tent after a marathon. I got way too cold after a race because I didn't change my clothes, and I went to the medical tent. They would put very warm blankets on you to get your body temperature up. So if you just simply go change your clothes, that really could possibly prevent you having to go to the medical tent because you get too cold. The next mistake after you finish a marathon is not eating anything. So eating something after the marathon can help with the recovery process. By eating something, this can refuel your muscles and increase your glycogen stores, because your glycogen stores are depleted right after you finish the marathon. Eating something to eat as well as drinking something can restore your fluid levels and help replace electrolytes that you lost while you were sweating during the race. It's going to provide some nutrients that your body really needs to help repair muscle damage. You want to eat something at least within 30 to 60 minutes after you finish the marathon. I know there are many runners, as well as myself, that did not feel like eating anything after the race. They're sick to their stomach, very nauseous, and it's really hard to stomach something. Do your best to try to find something to stomach. So really anything after the race that you think you can tolerate, do it. Obviously it's going to be better to eat something nutritious and healthy, but if you can stomach something else, the main thing is just to be able to stomach something. Try and eat it, and if you're having trouble eating it, eat it slowly. That might help you get it down. The next mistake you should avoid after the marathon is getting a deep tissue massage. You should not do this immediately after the race. You should wait 3 to 5 days before you schedule a deep tissue massage. It is not a good idea to do a deep tissue massage because there's muscle damage and inflammation going on within your body. You should let your body heal during this time period. You will most likely be very sore next day after the marathon, all the way up till about 5 days after the marathon. It would actually really hurt to get a deep tissue massage at this point. So they do have post-race massages after the race. Now this would probably be okay because these massage therapists know that you shouldn't be doing a deep tissue massage. They do very light pressure It's almost more like a rub down of your legs and some stretching, some gentle stretching, which that is actually somewhat beneficial, but do not just know that you shouldn't do it deep tissue. Deep tissue is actually really getting into the muscles and really hurts because that's where all that damage is. So just know light massage at the tent. They do about a 10 minutes massage. Light, gentle massage is going to be fine. But just at all costs, you should avoid the deep tissue massage for at least 5 days after the marathon. The next mistake that you should avoid after the marathon is getting right back into training. You need to take it easy getting back into training. I know this is easier said than done. I have been tempted as well to try to push myself and get right back into it. You need to slowly get back into it. You should try your best to take a week off from running. Running for a week. You can do a little bit of cross training. You can do some walking, some cycling, and some swimming, but I would avoid the strength training and things like that. Anything that's going to break down muscles, such as strength training and running, since that is the activity you did for the marathon, that's where all the damage is. You can walk, cycle, or swim. Those cross-training things are okay. Just don't overdo those either. Maybe up to 30 minutes at the most or something like that. Do something light. I wouldn't do it for a long duration of time. It's kind of individualized based upon the fitness level of the runner, that sort of thing. But I wouldn't do any strength training for a week because strength will further break down your muscles, and your muscles need the time to repair. So you're not going to gain anything by doing any strength training during this period of time. After that week off from running, you can start running again, but make it light. So the next 2 weeks after that first week, after the marathon, is you need to be running. The training should be light. Easy runs. So very easy runs, and slowly get back into it. Maybe do something like every other day that second week, and then maybe you add a day or two more the following week if you would like. It really just kind of depends on the individual runner and what their training was like and what their fitness level was after they completed the marathon. After you've rested that first week and done some easy runs for the 2 weeks after that first week, the next week you can start thinking about training again. Maybe slowly build back up the speed work and that sort of thing. And you can be thinking about your next race. So those are the type of things. So kind of like it almost takes a month approximately to fully recover from the marathon. Just know that after the marathon, it does take some time to recover. And you have to be patient with it. That is the hardest part, is the recovery part of the marathon. If you made any of these mistakes after the marathon, please comment below. I would love to hear your feedback. Make sure you watch the next video on your screen about the worst mistakes the day before the marathon.